Do you struggle with meal planning, maybe knowing when to do it, what to meal plan, and then maybe being discouraged when things that you plan don't come into fulfillment? My name is Carmen, and together my husband and I have That Gonzo Life channel. In today's video, I wanted to talk to you about meal planning. There is an art to it. Sometimes I would say the best thing to do is do it. And there's never been a time in my life where I have prepared and had regrets with that. But there is always a time when I said, oh my goodness, I didn't make time for this and I absolutely regret it. We are a family of 6, and so there are times where for the most part we are home, but there are times where we need to up and leave, and sometimes in a haste. The other thing is, as a family of 6, we are a homeschool family. We are all home. I work from home, as does my husband. And so if I don't take time at least once to twice a week and get some of the basics planned out, it does make things a little bit more, chaotic. And so I want to help to guide you through meal planning. So the first step to meal planning is, before you meal plan, look in your pantry and look in your refrigerator and also your freezer. And if you have a secondary freezer or any type of food storage area, look in all of the places that you would possibly store food and see what you have in stock. And so that would be the first thing that I would start with. And then maybe on the side have a little bit of an idea of what you're wanting to cook to see if those things that you have in stock can go together with the recipes that you have in mind. The other thing is, I would check with your family, especially if you have families where the kids are maybe a little bit older and they can be active participants in the meal planning process. I would ask for your family, what do you guys want to eat in this upcoming week? I'm going to be doing groceries, on Friday, and I want to include you in this process. It's really helpful because if they say, hey, I'd like to have burgers next week, it's very likely that it takes that weight off of your plate in terms of if they're gonna like the meal that you cook. The first thing would be to check your inventory in your entire house with what you have in stock. The next thing is to check with your family and see if they have any specific meal requests, because that kind of makes things a little easier. And then the next thing is to use those 2 tools that you have just checked off your box and make your meal plan. Some simple ideas with meal planning. For instance, a lot of people do like meatless Mondays. In my mind, I think of like meatball subs, meatball Mondays, or you can have any theme that you want to go with. But once you have checked your inventory and once you have discussed with your household, if that is applicable, what they would like to eat, I would next check your schedule to see what days you have more free time and what days maybe are a little bit in more of a rush, or you have specific events. There's a lot of families that have like sports or school events. You definitely want to take those things into consideration when you are meal planning, because you really can't make homemade lasagna on a night when you need to be out of the house by 5:30. Unless you meal prep ahead of time, then you can just reheat it, right? I would check your schedule and make sure that the meal that you have planned for that specific day reflects the availability that you have for that evening if you are going to be cooking live. Once you have checked your inventory, checked with your family for meal ideas, and checked your schedule, then you can begin your meal planning process. On Monday nights, we tend to be where we have to get out of the door by 5:45. So we tend to do sub sandwiches. We do meatball subs, baconless, tomato and avocado. The common meal is simple, quick, and we can almost eat it on the go if we needed to. On that day, we try to eat dinner a little bit earlier. My husband and I work from home, so that makes that possible, but I understand that's not the case in every household. Taco Tuesdays is kind of like your all-encompassing Taco Tuesday. So we got burritos, we got nachos, we got burrito bowls, you name it. That is the day where I kind of tend to do our Hispanic and Mexican dishes. I find that Wednesdays and Thursdays, it's like that hump. You got to get over that hump, and so it makes it a little hard to stay the course and have meals to tend to. So I have found that I like to have my children participate. In my case, I have a 14 and a 10-year-old who can actively participate in the cooking of dinner specifically. So it has worked out that my son cooks on Wednesdays and my other son cooks on Thursdays. So for instance, I'm recording this video on a Thursday. My son did leftovers and he just reheated everything. So don't be hesitant to include a leftover night. It's easy, or you can do a free night. My kids love free night because that means cereal. A really fun one for dinner, an idea is breakfast. I just wanted to give you some ideas on how to meal plan on the specific days based off of your availability. So that's the calendar piece. The next thing that I wanted to encourage you with is you can build your meals on each other. So for instance, you can do, we'll say fajitas. If you're gonna do Taco Tuesdays, you could do fajitas. And what you can do is, fajitas usually tend to be, you know, bell peppers, onions, and then if you wanna do beef or chicken, or you can do veggies in general. But all to say that one of the base ingredients is going to be bell peppers. Well, we have another dish that is sausage, potato, and bell peppers. So what I would do is, since I'm already cutting up the bell pepper, I cut up basically double the amount, and then I put the bell peppers that I'm going to use for a different meal, I put that aside. You want to do meal plans where some of the ingredients overlap so that it minimizes your cost, but also it lessens your amount of work on the actual prep side. So that's the next thing, is plan meals that you can overlap and use some of the same ingredients to make the process easier. And sometimes your food is already prepped and all you simply have to do is reheat and mix them all together. And then the last thing is just commit to following through and be flexible. Sometimes we may not have a meal planned, like a meal plan for the week, but we have general ideas. Like I always have seasoned chicken that's grilled and ready to eat. I always have bags of salad because sometimes you're just not in the mood for what you plan. So just be flexible to kind of move those things around and be in communication with your spouse and with your family. Sometimes grilled cheese and some soup on the side is just what's in order for that particular evening. So hopefully you enjoyed this video and you found this to be helpful. I would love to hear your meal planning tips and tricks in comments below. And if you didn't watch the first video on this topic, go ahead and check that out, and then stay tuned. Be sure to subscribe so that you can look forward to more videos like this.